Welcome back to World of Immersion. Today we're going to be giving you our ranking of the top 10 best rides at Parc Asterix in France. Now recently we just came back from our huge European trip. Be sure to check out all of those vlogs if you haven't already. And be sure to check out our other top 10 lists so far that we have been doing from all of our parks that we visited. But Parc Asterix was definitely one of our favorites. This park was a ton of fun and there are a ton of great rides here. Honestly, I didn't know a ton going into this park, but I was very pleasantly surprised. And today we're going to give you our top 10 best rides at this park. But before we start today's video, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss when we have brand new content. We are posting daily. We have tons of new content coming out. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now starting off, I do want to preface this video by saying I am not a French speaker, so I'm going to have a ton of trouble pronouncing these names, so please forgive me. Some of them I may actually choose not to pronounce them and instead just describe what they are because some of these names are a little bit complicated to say. But starting off at number 10 is actually unfortunately a ride that we did not get the chance to ride, but it looked very, very cool, so I felt like I had to include it, and that was Disco Belix. Now this is a typical flat ride, however this one has some incredible theming. It is one of those Zamperla frisbee rides that spins you around. It's almost like a coaster, it's not exactly a coaster, but this one has some amazing theming. There's fire that actually shoots off at the very end of it when it gets to the top, and this ride looks like a ton of fun. We did choose to skip it because the line was almost 45 minutes all day. It was honestly one of the longest lines in the entire park, but it absolutely deserved to be included on this list. This ride looks amazing. Coming in at number 9 is a ride that we did do, and that is going to be their log flume Menhir Express. Now this ride was a ton of fun. It wasn't the best log flume in the world, but it definitely was a really solid one. It had a little mini dark ride scene with some cool water effects in the middle of the ride, and the drops were pretty solid as well. The queue was very well themed though, that was very surprising. And something that I noticed with a lot of these log flumes in Europe, almost all of them have Omnimover stations, which is great. It means the capacity on this ride is amazing. That line was flying, which was great because it was completely backed up to the front entrance of the ride, but we only really waited about 20 minutes, which wasn't bad at all. But like I said, the theming in the queue was great, and the ride itself was pretty fun. Now coming in at number 8 is a ride that I am not going to try to pronounce because I have no clue how to pronounce it. But it was a family coaster in the park, and honestly, I thought it was really good. The theming was pretty solid. It definitely was a very small family coaster, and it's one of those rides that you get to ride either in pairs of 2 or 1. We realized that we could ride single if we wanted to after 2 of our group had already gotten on, which was a really funny experience. But this ride is really fun. The theming is definitely pretty cool. It is a little bit janky because it's a little bit old, but it's definitely a great family coaster for this park. Coming in at number 7 is going to be the Vakoma Looper Asterix. Now this ride is not great. While the layout itself is pretty good and it does have vest restraints, which does help a little bit with the headbanging, this ride is pretty unbearably rough. Definitely one of the roughest coasters we went on this trip. Like I said, the layout isn't bad at all. It's actually very, very intense, but those transitions are so bad, and it gives you some of the worst whiplash. Honestly, I would not recommend this coaster unless you are absolutely a seasoned roller coaster junkie, because this ride is very, very intense and very rough. But like I said, that being said, the vest restraints definitely help a lot with it. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the Parc's Bobsled Coaster. Now this ride actually was very surprising. I've been on a few other bobsled coasters, except this one was huge. I swear it must be one of the tallest bobsled coasters in the world. Someone comment down below if you know if it is the tallest or not, but this ride is just massive. It's standing next to some of their other coasters in the park, and it stands up pretty tall compared to them. That being said, it still is just a bobsled coaster, and those can only do so much for me. But I thought this one was very smooth and had some of the best operations we noticed in the park. They were running almost like 7 trains on this thing and dispatching super, super quickly, so that line moved very fast. But the theming was pretty solid, and it was a very long ride as well. Now moving on to our top 5 is going to be the Revenge of the Pirates boat ride. Now this actually, I had no clue what to expect. All you can see from the ground is just the big splash at the end of it. Now that part of the ride is really great. It's really the rest of the ride that does it for me. I didn't realize how long this ride is. You go up that first lift, and then there are a ton of dark ride scenes. While I wouldn't call them dark ride scenes, you are outdoors, but it's got some great theming, and it goes on for a while. It's got some solid animatronics. There's definitely a little bit of a story that you can follow. And just overall, this ride really, really surprised me. It was one of the best themed rides in the park, in my opinion. And like I said, that drop at the end is very, very cool. It gets you soaked. There's actually one part of the ride that gets you even more soaked. It's one of the themed parts of the ride, which is really interesting. It's not even a drop, but this ride is definitely a ton of fun and one of the most surprising rides of the park. And coming in at number 4 is going to be Pegasus Express. Now, this is another incredibly surprising ride. This is the Gerstlauer family launch coaster in the park, and this ride is awesome. It's a lot longer than it originally looks like when you're walking up to it. It's got an amazing backward section. It's got a very cool middle section. It's almost like a mini dark ride scene. The queue is very well themed. The station is very, very well themed. It's very, very smooth. Overall, it's just one of the best family coasters. I think this is absolutely how you should do a family coaster. Make it a very enjoyable ride for everybody and not just kids. This ride is absolutely one of the best family coasters on the planet and one of my favorite rides at Parc Asterix. And moving on to our top 3. And at number 3, we have the park's wooden coaster, Tonnerre Tuzus. Now, this ride is crazy. I do want to preface it by saying it is very, very rough. This is one of the roughest wooden coasters I have been on. But that being said, it has an amazing layout. The drop is crazy, and it's got some very, very strong airtime. And those banked curves are crazy. I do think it would do probably better without the Timberliner trains. I think the Timberliner trains definitely make it run rougher. I really haven't experienced a smooth coaster with Timberliners. And like I said, this ride is definitely one of the roughest I've ever been on. But that being said, it is an incredible layout. It's got some amazing airtime, but do be warned, if you are very prone to rough coasters, you're probably not going to like this one very much. I actually was one of the only people in our entire group that liked this ride. But moving on to number 2 is absolutely a ride that can be enjoyed by everybody, and that is the park's B&M Invert, Osiris. This is a great invert. It's one of the smoothest inverts I think I've ever been on. My only minor nitpick is that I don't think it's as intense as some of the other inverts I've been on. The inversions are great. It actually has a little bit of airtime, which is really interesting. The drops into some of the tunnels are really, really great. This ride has a very well-themed queue. It's pretty awesome. That station is really amazing as well. And this ride is just awesome to look at. It's one of my favorite rides in this park. Not one of my favorite inverts of all time, but it's definitely a pretty solid middle-of-the-road invert. It is very interesting, though, since it's the newer invert, it doesn't have that B&M pre-drop, which is really interesting. I've never experienced an invert like that before. But it's definitely a ton of fun, and I think absolutely everybody in your group is going to like this ride. But it comes nowhere near as good as the absolute best ride in this park, and that, of course, this should be no surprise to anybody, that it's going to be Tatis. This park's Intamin launch coaster is amazing. It is very similar to the likes of Pantheon over at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, if you've been on that one, except I actually prefer this ride. I think the layout is just slightly better, and this ride has some amazing theming. The queue is nicely themed, and the station is amazing. The station is very, very well themed. It's got a nice drop out of the station into that first launch, and that swing launch is amazing as well. The top hat I don't think is as good as Pantheon's top hat because it does have trims. However, after that, the layout is amazing. It's got an incredible stall. It's got an awesome, really low to the ground inversion, and it's got some great airtime moments as well. Overall, this coaster is just amazing. It's actually in my top 25 roller coasters of all time. Be sure to check out that video if you haven't already so you can see just where it ranks. But this ride is absolutely worth the trip to Parc Asterix alone. But like I said, it's not their only amazing ride. Absolutely everything else I put on this list is a great ride and definitely a reason to come check out this amazing park. But that's going to do it for our video today. Be sure to comment down below if you've been to Parc Asterix and what your favorite rides are in the park. There are absolutely some of the rides that we did not get to hit in this park, so be sure to comment down below if I missed anything. Stay tuned for all of our brand new videos coming up. Like I said, we are posting daily, so we have tons of content. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss that brand new content. And thank you so much for watching World of Immersion today, and we'll catch you in the next video.